everyone, I'm Hayley. I'm always in the craft room and soon I'm off to a wedding. I recently dyed a ready-to-wear dress blue. Here it is. It started off white. With the help of Rit, it came out like this, and I've got to tell you, I am absolutely thrilled with the colour. It is pretty much exactly what I was going for, and it is so even. But I don't have a bag to go with it. Now, I was just going to use this little clutch. It's cute, isn't it? And it would be fine. But then I thought, why use a bag that doesn't match when I sew? And so I had a dig through the pattern stash, came up with a few options. Let me show you what I'm thinking. If you are ever in need of a bag pattern, do not overlook these wardrobe patterns where they come with quite a few little bits and bobs. This particular one, NewLook 6723, has an envelope clutch view E, and I have made it before. It is here, and I'm not in love with this for a few reasons. The first is it's too floppy. I did interface it. I did add some extra fabric into the lining, but it just needs more structure to look like a professional bag. And the second thing is, and if you saw the vlog where I made this, I messed up. So the tissue for this pattern it's so simple to make this bag. Honestly, it's literally cut two of these and fold it and sew it and turn it inside out. But the simplest things are sometimes the hardest for me to visualize because I don't know, once you flip it inside out, I couldn't get my head around where everything was. And you see this point, it is where you sew the snap on for the closure. And obviously, when you close the bag like that, you need the snap on the underside. But I'm an idiot who put it on the top. So I had to go back and put it on the underside, but where I had to take it off, there is a small hole, two small holes actually. These little metal closures I absolutely love. I bought a bag of like 50 of them years ago, I think from Etsy, and they are so simple to install. They come in two parts, and you literally cut two little slits in your fabric, poke these through, and then I bend these inwards, but I don't know if you're meant to bend them outwards. And the reason I don't know is that I bought a big bag, they arrived with no instructions. They work really well. I love them, and I do think they give a nice secure closure. So I would like to use those again, but this time I'm going to fully construct the bag, and you turn it out through this edge. So I'm going to leave that not slip stitch closed, and then I'm going to install these just by wriggling because they're really not that hard to install. You don't need any hardware or anything. I think that is more foolproof than me trying to do it and then turn it, crossing my fingers. There are, of course, some other design changes I'd like to make to this because, you know, can't keep anything simple. I don't want an envelope style for this. I'd really like a bow bag. Bows are having a moment and ready to wear, aren't they? And as soon as I thought of making a bag to go with this dress, I thought of a chiffon fabric that I used to make this dress. Let me scoot over so I've got somewhere to put the footage. I made a dress for my friend's birthday party. I absolutely loved it, and the fabric was tricky to work with but really beautiful. So I knew I wanted to use that, if not for the whole bag because it is quite thin, then for an embellishment. So let me find the fabric. I thought I was so prepared. Hang on. Here is the remains of that chiffon, and as you can see, it has beautiful drape and weight and a slight sheen, and it's just a gorgeous fabric. So what I'm thinking is on the front of the bag, a bow using this, but then I want a sturdier fabric to make the outer from. I had a look through my fabric remnants because if you know me, you know I love navy. So surely I'd have something suitable. But no, I had loads of remnants of really sturdy, nice navy fabrics, twills and drills left over from trouser making and things that would be perfect, but none of them were quite the right shade. What I did find in my fabric stash was this. It's a polyester peachskin, and it's pretty hefty. And I actually bought this on holiday in the States at JoAnn's. I'm so sorry if you shop at JoAnn's and it's closing, because I know they had their flaws, but yeah, it was a great resource. Anyway, I went in looking for rayon Bemberg because that is so hard to find in the UK and it's my absolute favourite lining. And they didn't have any. And instead of just saying to the assistant who served me, oh, thanks so much for showing me the peach skin, it's not quite what I was after. Instead, I ended up buying this even though I didn't really want it, I know. Anyway, I finally thought of a use for it. It's going to be turned into this bag because I think those two go well together. I mean, they're still not exact, but believe me, these were a good match compared to every other option I had. So the basic plan is to square off this point and just make it a rectangle, and then the bag will end up like that big, less seam allowances. And across the front, I'm going to make a bow. And to do that with the chiffon, my plan is to cut a piece of chiffon 3 times the depth of this bag. No, 6 times. Yes, 6 times. Fold it in half, right sides together. Nope, fold it in half, wrong sides together. Turn it, sew it again so it's French seamed. Turn it right side out so I have a French seamed tube that is 3 times the height of this and about the same width with a little bit extra. Then I will gather the tube down to the width of this so it's super ruched. And then I'm going to make a little loop. So I haven't even thought how I'll do that yet, but I'm sure it will involve making a loop, turning a loop, and then turning that long loop into a loop that way. Thread that into it so that it makes the bow shape in the middle. Baste, baste, trim, trim, and then construct the bag. In my head it works. Let's find out if it works in real life. Okay, we need 2 main pieces, one for the outer, one for the lining. Here is the outer, and as you can see, it's all interfaced. This is a tailoring canvas fusible, and it's, yeah, you can see it's quite hefty compared to the fabric alone. And then I cut out my lining and was just about to fuse it when I spotted it's got a tiny hole in it. It looks as though it's been caught with knives or a scissors or something. Yeah, so it's a tiny flaw. It's only the lining. I don't care. It's got to go. We're not using that. So I need to go and cut another one of those, and then I think we'll get started on the bow. So I'm just measuring the pattern piece to work out how big the front is, and I think the finished front is 15 centimetres because these are just fold lines, so I don't need to take into account any seam allowance, I don't think. But you know what? Here's one I made earlier so we can measure it. 14 centimetres. Oh. Is that just turn of cloth? Is that inaccurate sewing? Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're cutting a bow to gather it up, so let's do it about 45. Yeah, sound good? That sounds like a lot. And actually, we need a tube. Here is the chiffon. Have we got any? offcuts. Okay, let's look at this bit. This fabric, oh, it's all coming back to me now how hard it was to work with because it's so heavy and so slippery. Whenever you're working with just a bit of it, the rest of it's trying to slide everywhere. Right. Okay, that's quite a big bit. What if we did that? And then, yeah, no, that looks really thin and not very much. Yeah, we want it fluffier than that, don't we? Do we? Where's the other bag? I'm going to pretend the back is the front and show you how bad that looks. Do you see what I mean? Flimsy, very, very flimsy. We want it more luscious than that. Here is my fabric. I know, that seems like a lot of fabric, doesn't it, just to make a bow, but I only get one life. Why spend it with a skimpy bow when I don't have to? So let's get this French seamed, and it's going the other way than I want it to, than I think it should. Like, it's long, but these are the short ends of the bow. It's just I want it super gathered. I think I need to finish these edges because you can see how much they're fraying. Do I? Should I just do the gathering? I think I'm just going to do the gathering onto the flat fabric. Long story short, I just don't want to rethread my machine. I know in my heart the right thing to do is overlock. I mean, realistically, can I make this whole project without the overlocker? I could. I definitely could. Is it a good idea given how much this fabric sheds? Do you want to hear the real problem? I can't find the white fabric that I want to make my t-shirt from, and it's threaded white. I just want to run that t-shirt up dead quick, and the fabric has just disappeared. Where has it gone? This place is so tidy. My house is so tidy. It's disappeared. Could overlock in white. I mean, it's all on the inside. I won't do any of the construction in overlocking, I promise. And in defense of this machine, it's super easy to change the threads. It's fun even. Trimming off that fairy selvage was a lot of fun. Okay, let's see what we think if we just loosely gather it. Oh yeah, luxurious. Like it much better than the first attempt. Okay, so we need our little loop to go around the middle. How big do we need it? If we made it 15 centimeters, we've got room to play with in terms of hand sewing, trimming, etc. So that's length. What width do we want? The whole bag is 25, so 5. Do we want any gathering on it? Do we want it ruched or do we want it flat? I think we want it ruched. We want it to end up 5 wide. We're going for triple, so that's 15. But we need it double, so that's 30, and we want it to end up 15 wide. So cut it 30 by 15. Or cut it 30 by 30. No, 15. It only needs to be 15 in length, and that's not being doubled. Okay, 30 by 15. You know when you've cut something out of fabric and you end up with a piece of fabric with like weird bits hanging off the side? There was one such bit that was 36 by 16, so we've had it, and I'm not overthinking it. That'll do. That is the outside. So this is the finished length of the tube we want. So we're sewing it, these ends together, and we're French seaming it, so we want right side out. And flip it out. Okay. So this is gonna gather that way, flip like that, hand sew behind, and you know what we've reached? The point where I just have to thread that in navy anyway, don't I? Because I can't leave these ends to fray. I definitely can't have white. Oh, honestly, why do I do it to myself? And now we play the game well known to all of those age 40 and over called, is it navy or is it black? Navy, navy. Do you know what a sensible person would do? Look at the code inside. In fact, why don't I just write navy on there? Because, you know, colour 6950 doesn't mean much to me, but navy does. Aging is so humbling, isn't it? This is the kind of old person hack that I would have spotted at my grandparents' house and rolled my eyes at. Ah, karma. Did you even see how easy that was? Why would I put that off? Okay, I've got my little tube made, and I left really long thread tails because I thought, could I just thread those back through the stitching to gather everything? So basically, I'm trying to gather these sideways and then wrap them around and meet them at the back. So in my head, it really seems like this might work. Oh, hello. Oh, nice gathering there, Hayley. So this unconventional way of gathering has like really worked. Did I just invent something new, or have you all been doing this for ages? Because now I'm wondering, could I do that on like a skirt? You know, if you were attaching a skirt to a bodice and you needed to gather the skirt on, and you'd overlock the top edge of it so that it wouldn't fray, couldn't you leave long thread tails, run them back through and just it up on the overlocking stitches? Maybe it would really weaken them. Maybe pretty soon it will become apparent why this was a terrible idea. Yeah, maybe the whole garment will then just fall apart if you snap it or something. Anyway, for what I'm trying to achieve today, happy with that. So this is the bow. These are going in the side seams of the bag. So we're going to gather it this way. And we're gonna, ta-da! How much wider than the pattern piece is it? Yeah, loads wider, but you know, it will take up some slack, won't it? Let's get the pattern piece and mark the fold lines. Yeah, the penny has literally just dropped. Tell me in the comments below if you saw this coming. This flap only goes to here, you idiot. So we can't put a bow on that just by squaring it off. It needs to be the whole. So I guess what we can do is narrow everything. But will it still fit my phone? That is the question. That is the only question. So this is the piece that we have. I mean, we could recut. It's not biggie, is it? If we just do it in thirds, it's that big. I think that's fine. I'm just going to measure my phone. Oh, 7. Last time I made a bag, I altered the pattern piece and didn't alter all dimensions, didn't I? Anyone remember that? It was this fabric actually, but not this bag. It was a backpack that I made. Let's remark this in thirds because the original fold lines are not going to work. So it is 42. What if we did 11, 11 and 10? So the front doesn't come quite all the way to the bottom. Does that work? 11 plus 11. No, that's only 32, isn't it? Honestly. 42 divided by 3. 7. Is it? No. I can't use my phone because I'm filming on it. Come on, this can't be that hard. 44 divided by 4 would be 11. But we only want to divide it by 3. But 45 divided by 3 would be 15, wouldn't it? Haha. Right. And we need to knock 3 off. So it's 14, isn't it? 14. 28. Have we got 14 left? Oh, amazing. Got there in the end. Right. But wait. 2 of these are fold lines. Some of them have seam allowances. You know what I'm all like? Don't buy a pattern. Just use what you've got. Just buy a pattern. Just buy a pattern with instructions. Let's read the instructions. Fusible interfacing, done that. Right, so the first bit you stitch is the bottom, leaving a gap for turning. Okay. Oh, and then you do the complicated fold thing and then you pop it all out. I think we just got to go for it and just work out the folds later. Oh, hi, it's time for my rant about commercial pattern instructions. Number 2, with right sides together, pin purse sections together at straight end, matching large dots. Stitch, leaving an opening to turn, back stitch to reinforce seam. But am I stitching right from the edge to the opening, or am I stitching from the dot to the opening, but leaving the seam allowance free? Anyone? Pin together, matching large dots. Stitch, leaving an opening to turn, back stitch to reinforce seam. Diagram most unclear. Put your vote in the comment box below. Would you stitch the seam allowance as well, or would you start and stop at the dot? I'm going to start and stop at the dot. It would help if I drew the dot on first, eh? Let's draw the dot on. And this is annoying as well. Here's the pattern piece. There are the dots. Like, who even is this so I can read about them? Is it NewLook? NewLook, are they even one of the big 4 or 5? I don't know. Anyway, NewLook. We can all measure in 1.5 centimetres from each edge. Like, I know where that is. That is not an important marking. But why haven't you left the gap for turning? Why haven't you put markings there? Why? That would be so easy to do. Now I'm going to have to guess, and whatever I guess, I'm going to be cross when I can't turn it through the opening I left. I was so busy with my rant there, I forgot I was trying to mark the dots. I don't even know, why do I need these dots? It's just like the seam allowance, like, ugh. When I get like this, I should probably have a break, eh? I'm enjoying the sewing, it's just the stupid instructions. Now watch me stitch this and forget to leave a hole for turning. Okay, we've sewn, like, that's all we've sewn. And now the next instruction is to basically lay it right sides together with everything folded in the middle, stitch around the whole thing and pop it out. And that's basically it. Also, I just have to say the instructions for this bit are quite vague. Fold each purse section along fold lines, bringing right sides together. Press along each fold, then bring both folds together on wrong sides so that all raw edges of purse are even, and that the pointed ends, which we don't have, face each other on the right side and the large dots match. Brackets. Please note that the seam with the opening is up between the folds. Stitch entire outer layer. And for all of that, there is one diagram. So up in the middle is that seam we just sewed. I need to work out how to achieve that. Do you like how this is a complete mystery to me, and yet I made this exact bag about 4 months ago? You'd think I'd never even seen this pattern before. No, this is not right because this top bit should be the pointy bit, and that should be free. And we're trying to make the large dots match. What are the large dots? This and this, we're matching those. Okay. So I think we should be folding this line, not that line. We did the wrong line. Unclip, this is why we don't stitch first time. But how do I bring those right sides together? Oh, like that. Okay. Yeah, does that work? I think it works. Okay. Yes, and then that lines up with that. We're getting somewhere now. Okay. Ow! How do I even injure myself on clips? It's a contact sport sewing. Okay. Yes, this is it. This is it. Okay, okay, yeah. I see where we're going with this. So these should be the two pointy ends. And then up in there is the gap for turning. Slightly confused again. Because now it looks like there's two pockets in the bag, but there isn't. But I think it will all make sense one day. I do think that's it. I really do. Do I? Yeah, I do. I do. And then that means this bit is the bit that needs the bow on it. And then we'll sew down here, all the way across there, all the way up there, and then turn it out through that bit. Yes, yes. This makes sense. We need to add a bow to this bit. So if we pull that back, that's the lining. This is the outer. And there's the gap. And here is the bow. So what we want to do is apply that on there, like bunched, and this in the middle. Do you get the idea? Why don't we put this on first? Because then we know how much like slack it's taking up, don't we? Okay, how's this bow looking? It's looking bowy, yeah? So I think we just need to gather up these edges. Of course my bobbin thread ran out then. I'm really pleased with how this is looking. And I am kind of regretting doing the overlocking in white, but also it will really force me to make sure I get it all in the seam allowance. And if it was navy, I probably wouldn't, and then I would notice it in use and it would annoy me. So we're pretending it's a blessing in disguise, okay? I've decided to hand baste these gathers in place because the overlocking has made them really bulky, and I just think I'll get better even distribution that way. Oh, and I've marked where I want the gathers to start 2 centimetres down because the seam allowance is 1.5, and I just thought I definitely don't want to trap anything at this top corner. That would look bad. Stand by for a lighting change. I need some sunshine. Okay, I've got the bow hand basted on. I'm like 90% confident that this is the right bit of the bag, and when I turn it all out, it will be on the front. Guess we'll find out soon. The next step is to machine down each side of here to make sure we get all of that seam allowance out the way, and then we can stitch all around and pop it all through, hopefully. But predictably, I've run out of time. I always do this, don't I? Should we spend the day sewing together and make a bag, and then like 3 weeks later? Anyway, I've not got 3 weeks, so I will have to come back to this maybe later on, maybe another day. But if this turning thing works, I've got to say I'm in love with the bow. I think that is exactly what I was going for. So fingers crossed I worked everything else out correctly, and I will be back soon to show you. Well, hello there. It is a few days later and I have come back to the bag. Here is how it's looking. I have just machine basted down all of these pleats, and I'm just looking at the bow. I think I might want to be able to hold the bag through the bow, if you know what I mean, like clutch it like that. So I do need to do something about this because it's super messy. So I think what I'm going to do is hand sew the, I suppose it's a knot, but it's not really. Hand sew it to the bow, but like all the way down each side. I was just going to do a few onto the backing, but I think I actually need to do it like down that side and down that side so that this can't spin, because if during the course of proceedings this spun to the outside, I would be most unhappy. So overall, thinking I love it, but still waiting with bated breath to see if it all works out in the end. So I'm going to hand stitch this down. Okay, I've hand stitched that down. I'm loving how it looks, but I have just been rethinking. Do you remember the one seam we've sewed? There's a gap here for turning, and I didn't go all the way to the edge with my stitches. I did it between the dots. And now I've had a think about how this all gets folded. This comes up into the middle. That is the hole that we turn through, and then this becomes the inside of the bag. I'll show you the part I mean. It becomes this, and then you turn through this gap. So when I've had a think about how I'm folding all this, I do think I can and should just sew right to the end there. I don't suppose it makes a massive difference, but I just don't want a weak point right there. So I think I'm just going to sew across the ends of those, and then we'll be ready to sew around the whole thing and turn. I did have it all pinned, and I was trying to keep it pinned because I understood how we were turning it, but I had to take it off. So let's do it again. To baste or not to baste, that is the question. So my logical side says baste it, because if you've got it wrong, that will be such a pain to unpick. However, the other side of me says, this is correct. You've done it before, you know what you're doing, and what you don't want to do is baste it, turn it, it's right, then have to turn it again, then sew it, then turn it again, because everything's going to get really crumpled. We don't want a crumpled bag, we want it looking nice and crisp. Let's just check the diagram one more time. I mean, diagram is so vague, but I feel like that's correct. I guess we're going for it. Yeah. We're sewing all the way around. Where's the best place to start? I feel like I want that on top. Let's start over here. Okay, so it looks like this, with a gap up there. And now for the moment of truth. Should I trim it first? No, don't trim it first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That might just be the first time in my life I've left a big enough gap to turn something on the first go. Oh, is it gonna work? Gosh, it definitely doesn't look like a bag. Oh. Oh, maybe. It's looking better. Let's just do it loosely so we can see if it's... Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. Oh my God. Here's the bag. That's how it closes. Oh, hang on. Flip the bow. Oh my God, it worked. Oh my God, thank God I thought of that. Yes. I can't believe it. Gosh, that had me there a minute, that bow being on the wrong side. In principle, yes. In reality, we've got a little bit of overlocking showing through there. We can sort that. And yeah, we obviously need to trim some seams. It is very long and thin. Never mind. That really, when I thought I got the bow on the wrong bit. Imagine if I had thought, oh, I've got it in the wrong place, like turned it back through, unpicked it all, and all that I had to do was hook the bow over the top. Oh my goodness. That was a close call. Right. I'm going to unpick this bit, restitch it, pulling the seam allowance out the way, and then I'm going to trim and grade all of these seams. It's looking good. So I graded all of the seams, I pressed everything, I turned it all the right way out, and I am super pleased, but there's still a couple of things we need to do. The first is to fit the clasps so that it closes, and the second thing is it just feels a little bit floppy, just not quite up to the polished professional standards we're going for. And yeah, I was having to think about what I can pop in to kind of stabilize it, because I haven't yet closed the hole. And I went in the recycling bin and had a look through, and I've come up with a cereal box. Now I know that sounds really crazy and homemade, but if you have ever been inside a not ready to wear, a shop bought bag, you'd be surprised how much cardboard is in them. Truly, I was shocked. So I'm going to cut some cardboard, try and stiffen things up a bit, see if it works. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Okay, my first cereal box wasn't big enough. It would have a bend where I needed it, and I thought that would ruin the whole effect. Then I found some corrugated cardboard, which seemed like it would be great, but bends too easily along the corrugations. Is that a word? So now I found, can't even see it, can you? Big pack. The cardboard is in. Ignore my hair. I'm getting hotter and hotter because it's just been heat wave after heat wave here. Not complaining. And loving how it looks with the cardboard. I actually think that has made all the difference, and we're now looking pretty professional. I'm just thinking about the clasp. I think I was going to do one in each corner, but I think that's actually going to be super annoying to do up all the time. So I think I'm just going to do one in the middle. That'll be easier, and I think it will be fine. So not going to lie, this is going to be quite tricky to do at this stage in proceedings, but it's better than getting it in completely the wrong place like I did last time. So I think I'm going to try and get it through the cardboard as well. Normally I would do a square of interfacing, or maybe put an extra piece of thick fabric inside to stabilize it, but I think just go through the cardboard if I can. Let's mark it and give it a go. Okay, I've got the bottom one in. I am going to rub some chalk on this to work out where I need the other end, and I folded this to emulate an iPhone because you're on my phone, because we need a bit of depth in the bag when we close it, don't we? Now I'm going to push this on this, lining them up that way, and hopefully, ta-da, we have a little chalk mark to follow of where that needs to be. Okay, I've got all of the clasps on, looking good. I had to go back into the first one because I forgot to put the backer plate on. They come with 2 parts or 4 parts, so you put this in to stabilise it, and I'd forgotten. But I did go back and do it, and on this one, the top one, I poked it through the cardboard, and then I was a bit worried because on this side, this is only one layer of main fabric and interfacing, and the other side, like the backer plate and these prongs pushed outwards, felt a bit sharp. So I did manage to get in there and put some washi tape on the other side just to kind of smooth it off. That was tricky. Threading my hand up there with sticky tape on it, but I think I've managed it. Anyway, I've run out of time now. I've got to go and pick the kids up, but we're basically there. So I'm going to go and I'm going to throw in the car some navy thread and a hand sewing needle, and hopefully get this finished. Well, here I am with the finished bag, and I've got to tell you, I am absolutely thrilled with it. I think it looks so cute, and I actually love the juxtaposition between the small utilitarian fabric and then the gorgeous sheen from the chiffon with the bow. I will show you the closures. So there we go. And then I've hand stitched this closed. It's actually really roomy. I can get a phone, lipstick, hairbrush, tissues. They just magnet together. And I'm super pleased with that. I do think that the cardboard was the right decision. It just gives it a bit more weight and heft. If I had my time again, I would add some foam just to give it a little bit of squish. It does feel a bit on the thin side, but you know what? For something I ran at in a couple of evenings with scraps, I am chuffed. And now I need to go and pack for a wedding. Hope to see you again soon. Bye. Oh, left a pin in. That nearly came back to bite me, didn't it? Ah, I'm on my pattern piece. This is why I shouldn't be allowed a wheelie chair. Also, can someone tell me why I spent like £1,000 on an air thread machine if I still can't be bothered to change the threads? Ah! Can't get the first bit under. Where are all the rulers when you need them? Let's change angle so you can see what I'm doing. Let's turn this iron off before I melt the sewing machine. Righto, let's sew. Oh God, we're still attached. Help. 2 layers front and back. That will already provide quite a lot of scrunchy. Yes. Is this correct? Oh, Hayley, that was a wonky cut. Cooking on gas. I don't know why I'm a bit excited today. I think it's because I have like uninterrupted sewing time. I'm just a bit giddy. Deep breath. Everything is fine. 5/8 of an inch.